with a huge win in Norman. More than 80,000 Irish faithful anxiously awaiting the return home of their 8-0 unbeaten team on this first crisp Saturday of November, with hopes of keeping a perfect season alive as well as a possible national championship. As out come the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Indeed, a signature win in his third season for Coach Brian Kelly. And he had one of those defining performances by his young first-year redshirt freshman quarterback, Everett Gholston, who was sensational in the big win in Norman. And Manti Te'o, who picked up his 5th interception of the season, keeps his name in the conversation for the Heisman Trophy as a defensive player, trying to become just the 2nd defensive player to win that coveted award. In the meantime, the underdog Pitt Panthers, 4-4 on the season, up and down year, but picked up their 2nd straight win last week. Their 1st in the Big East this season. And they have had all sorts of coaching changes recently, but they hope that first-year coach Paul Chryst will be around to lead them to more consistency. His first head coaching job after serving as the offensive coordinator for Wisconsin the last 2 seasons, leading the Badgers to back-to-back Big Ten titles. Tino Sunseri, the experienced Pittsburgh quarterback, with hopes of a spoiler role today as we send it down to Alex Flanagan with the Irish head coach.
Hey, Dan. Well, Coach, you passed a huge test in Norman, Oklahoma last week. What has the approach been to this week's game?
Yeah, just the same. You know, each week's going to be a battle. We're not a football team that has all the parts together yet. We're getting better, so we're going to have to grind one out again today.
Everett Gholston had a really great game last week. How did that help his confidence? What did it do for it?
Well, it manifested itself in practice. He was a lot more confident in running our offense, and I know he comes out today obviously feeling a lot better about his performance last week. That's going to help him today.
All right, Dan, Notre Dame ready to go, but Pitt has always played them closely.
Indeed they have, Alex. And Mike Mack, there were a lot of people around the country last week who seriously doubted Notre Dame's hopes of upsetting Oklahoma in Norman last week. But what did that big win do for Coach Kelly and his team as they head down the stretch run here with national title hopes?
Yeah, and Dan, I think it was a huge win on several levels, but for me, none more important than the continued development of the redshirt freshman quarterback, Everett Gholston. Now, I remember back to week 4 against Michigan. I really thought that the lights were too bright. 2 early interceptions. Tommy Rees had to come in and save the day. Now, last week against Oklahoma, with national title implications, he played his most complete game. This kid came out and made smart decisions in the pass game, key first downs with his legs, but Dan, most importantly, no turnovers. And
now the Irish try to avoid the dreaded letdown against Pitt, a team with a recent history of success here at Notre Dame Stadium, having won twice here in their last 3 visits here. And they're a team to be reckoned with.
Yeah, they are, and I think their challenge, though, is to be patient. And I think they have the ideal quarterback and 5th-year senior quarterback, Tino Sunseri. Now, he's a coach's son. He hasn't thrown an interception in 5 games. He completes almost 70% of his passes. So what's the recipe for success today? I think it's be patient in the run game, let Tino take some shots in the pass game, play great defense and special teams, and you get this thing into the 4th quarter.
As Kevin Harper will put it into play for Pitt. And back deep is George Atkinson, who did not make the trip last week to Norman because of the flu. And that has affected the Notre Dame team. More on that in a moment as Atkinson takes it out from the 5-yard line and gets slammed just short of the 20, where Notre Dame will take over. So let's take a look at our Adidas starting lineups. First for the Notre Dame Fighting Irish on offense. Here's the players in their own words.
Everett Gholston, Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. I play a lot of piano, and I can play by ear.
Chris Watt, Clinton, Illinois. And Braxton Cave definitely wants to be on the cast in the Jersey Shore.
Tyler Eifert, Fort Wayne, Indiana. In high school, I won the junior ski championship in my town.
You never know what's going to come out of the starting lineup. So here come the Irish, and Gholston right to work through the air. It's complete to Robbie Toma. And so Gholston off to a good start here in the early going. Gain of 7, as there was news that broke yesterday concerning 3 of Pitt's best players. You're looking at Lafayette Pitts, outstanding defensive player for Pittsburgh. Also the leading rusher Ray Graham and leading receiver Devin Street were charged with simple assault and conspiracy in connection with an incident on campus as Sierra Wood grabs the first down for Notre Dame. 3 other students had accused the players of confronting them in an early morning incident on October 21st. And the school put out a statement yesterday saying that the 3 players will remain active while more information is gathered. The players deny they were involved in the alleged confrontation. So on 1st and 10, Gholston to the air again, and this one is complete to Tyler Eifert, the outstanding tight end. Picks up another first down. K'Wan Williams on the coverage as we take a look at the Pittsburgh defense.
Aaron Donald, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I'm a pretty good ping pong player.
Todd Thomas, Beer Falls, Pennsylvania. Fun fact about me is I'm a mama's boy.
Jared Holly, Easton, PA, and I was born on Christmas Day.
The strength of the Pitt defense is up front, and on 1st and 10, they go to the air again. DeVaris Daniels complete. So Gholston off to a great start. Lafayette Pitts on the coverage after a gain of 12 and another first down for Notre Dame.
Really like the early aggressive play call. Bubble screen here, challenging the perimeter. Good job by Chris Brown on the one-on-one block. Daniels, the big-bodied wide receiver, getting another first down. So they're challenging the perimeter with the pass game. Only 1 run so far.
Play action, and this is where Gholston is good. Gets rid of it, avoids the pressure, and avoids the loss.
This, Dan, is where a young quarterback's got to pull the trigger. And this is what I watched Nicholas, 85, right down the seam. If you see this early and you let it go, it's either a touchdown or close. Right down the seam. He's wide open. He looks at him, but he doesn't pull the trigger. And I think sometimes Everett Gholston's so hesitant of putting the ball on the ground or making a turnover that he doesn't have the confidence to pull the trigger.
See the red zone offense numbers for Notre Dame this season.
See those 2 tight ends? They're changing the picture on offense again.
On 2nd down and 10, it's Wood looking for a hole. Just gets inside the 15. In the words of Kelly, he said it was going to be pretty much a 2-man show today on the ground, especially with Atkinson still coming back from the flu. That 2-man show being Riddick against Sierra Wood in a very improved Notre Dame rushing attack, especially the last 4 games.
Yeah, there's no doubt, Dan, and I give a lot of credit to Harry Heastand and his offensive line. I think they're the key behind this whole rush game.
And that ball is tipped out of Gholston's hands by Brian Murphy.
And Murphy does a really nice job here. He's working on Zach Martin. And this is a key 3rd down situation. This is about touchdowns and about field goals here. And because Murphy does such a good job getting in the pass lane, he knows he's not getting home, but he gets in the lane.
So this will be a 37-yard field goal attempt by Kyle Brinza. Brinza 14 of 19 in field goals this year. He's been a little up and down this year, but he nails that one through, and Notre Dame successful on its opening drive. Paul Chryst team holds the Irish to 3. Notre Dame with the early lead here in South Bend. So Brinza to kick off. It is Cameron Sadler, number 5, and Lafayette Pitts, 23. Pitts is the redshirt freshman who leads the Big East in kickoff return average at just short of 28 a game and 28 a reception. And here he is taking it out across the 25. So a good return for Lafayette Pitts. There is big Lewis Nix, nose guard, who is available today but sat out a couple of days in practice. He doesn't look great, does he, Mike, as we look at him on the sideline?
No, it looks like he's dropped down to about 330.
So in the meantime, it's Kona Schwenke, number 96, who gets the start for big Lewis Nix up front. And that great Notre Dame defense, which has not allowed a first quarter touchdown this year. So Sunseri gives it to Ray Graham, and Graham is in the clear.
Great hustle.
Finally chased down at about the 32-yard line by Kivari Russell, but what a way to start as Graham rips off a 55-yarder.
And look at the left guard get out on Manti Te'o. That's the key block right there. He seals Te'o inside, breaks a tackle in the secondary, and if it's not for the hustle of Russell and Mata, that goes the whole way.
Pittsburgh offense finally thinks that Ray Graham is back. He had a season-ending knee injury in the Connecticut game last year. In the 8th game of the year, this is his 3rd game without the knee brace, and he's beginning to feel it. Sunseri on the roll, incomplete to one of his favorite targets, Mike Shanahan. That'll bring up 2nd and 10 deep in Notre Dame territory.
So you get the big run by Ray Graham, and then you get your senior quarterback on bootleg. And what I love about Sunseri is he's going to take care of the football. Shanahan drops it, but he did a great job baiting the corner into the other route, and he threw it to a wide open Shanahan.
Shanahan, normally very reliable senior team captain. Notre Dame held Oklahoma to 15 net rushing yards last week. 2nd and 7 on play action. Sunseri gets rid of it, complete to the freshman Holtz, but he is short of the first down. Danny Spond on the coverage for Notre Dame.
Boy, did Spond do a nice job reading this, because they had the middle screen set up to their tight end Holtz, and I think Spond's been kind of an unsung hero. He's right down here. Watch him drop in pass coverage, sees the tight end, gets him right in behind him, one-on-one tackle. That's a great diagnose and a real good finish.
So a big down here, 3rd down and 5 from the Notre Dame 13. Notre Dame already up 3-0. And Pitt looking to convert this 3rd down. Sunseri, down he goes. The first sack of the game for Notre Dame belongs to Catherine Lewis Moore. And loss of 9.
This is just a little TE stunt. It means the defensive end comes inside, the tackle comes outside. Catherine Lewis Moore is going to come in, and we got it right there. Double stunt, excuse me, a TE stunt. Comes free on the outside.
So the drive stalls, and Kevin Harper into attempt a 39-yard field goal. Low, but through the uprights. So a big start for Paul Chryst and his offense, but a big sack by Notre Dame holds Pitt to an opening field goal. We alluded to all of the coaching changes in the recent years for Pitt. I mean, it is hard to believe since Dave Wannstedt. And again, this is just back in 2010 when he resigned after 6 seasons, but there have been 6 coaches, a couple on an interim basis, Mike, who have taken Pitt to bowl games. But all of these coaches in this short span of time finally landing after Keith Patterson to Paul Chryst, who after a long career in coaching gets his first crack at a head coaching job.
And I think he's the right guy to stabilize this thing. And to be honest with you, I didn't get the firing of Wannstedt. I thought he was the right guy for the job at the time. I think this guy, Chryst, is very similar aligned in philosophy. He's going to bang the football, play great defense, and recruit well locally.
So Harper, after his field goal tied it, puts it in play, and Atkinson comes out with it. And he is met right at the 20 as another flag comes in. So the ball back at the 30, and Gholston out of the shotgun. Looks like he was going to run, dances for more time, still on his feet, weaves his way to the Pitt defense, and picks up the first down. Before he's brought down by K'Wan Williams after a gain of 8.
And this is what this quarterback brings you. Watch Murphy come all the way around on a stunt, okay? And Golick does a pretty good job of picking it up late. 57, look, picks him up right there. Gholston doesn't really trust it, but he's got the legs now, and he makes little something out of nothing. But give Golick some credit there for the recognition of picking up a long stunt like that.
Ball at the 46-yard line of Pitt. Gholston to the air, and a beautiful pass to Toma.
Every time I take a shot at him for technique and fundamentals, the next one's beautiful. I mean, this throw is gorgeous because it's on time, and he's going to hit Toma, who's just coming out of a break right here. Boom. Boom. Look where the ball is. Right on him. Beautifully thrown. Jared Holly has no shot at that. So he rode the tailback and came up and was ready to throw immediately. And because of that, he allows the receiver plenty of time to catch it and not worry about the out of bounds.
That's a gain of 15 for Toma. First and 10 from the Pitt 32. As Gholston's numbers, very impressive, 7 of 10. In the final seconds of the first quarter. Other side of the field, complete to T.J. Jones. Yes. Hits on the coverage, and a nice catch by Jones.
You know, this Irish offensive coaching staff does a really nice job of managing the quarterback. And by that I mean, there's T.J. Jones out there wide. Pretty good coverage, but they move the pocket that time. They make the read really easy for Gholston. It's only a half-field read from high to low, meaning from deep to short. He's got clear vision. Nobody's cluttered up around his feet like the pocket. That's a really good job.
And that brings us to the end of the first quarter. Pitt hanging tough so far, but Notre Dame on the move. And we'll be back to South Bend after these messages from your local station. You're watching Notre Dame football on NBC. Another good drive going for the Notre Dame offense, led by Gholston.
And the continued development of the redshirt freshman. Now, would I like to make more decisions in the pocket? Yeah, because they do a good job picking the stunt up. But once he decides that he's going to use his legs, folks, it's pretty exciting. Now, soft and off. He takes advantage of it with his best football player, Eifert. Accurate and on time. Move the pocket. Let the kid see it. Bang. On the accurate, on time. Really impressed just on this drive what we've seen with Gholston.
You see the numbers for Gholston, 4 of 5. This is a 10-play drive, which has already covered 65 yards. Down at the Pitt 26, 2nd and 5. This is Reddick again, and he's got a first and goal at about the 6.
And I'm more and more impressed with Tyler Eifert and this offensive line and the way they go about their business of blocking. Here's Eifert, who a year ago was really just a receiving threat. And as the years develop this year, he gives more and more effort in the run game, whether he's detached or attached. And I was on the field with some pro scouts prior to the game, and they all were remarking on this young man's effort in the run game.
2nd and goal. Riddick tries it again. I believe he was stopped again.
Yeah, it was from the right side of the Notre Dame offense. Jason Hendricks is the unblocked defender who comes in off Koyak. Right here, he's going to come right off Koyak and get a piece. Penetration is the enemy to goal line offense. Untouched. There's the piece. And now you just need some help.
Good hustle in there by Hendricks coming in to slow Riddick down. Now 3rd and goal. Ball is the foot line. 3rd and goal. Notre Dame trying to score the first touchdown of the game. Riddick will try it again. He's stopped at the 5 by Shane Gordon. What a surge here by the Pitt defense.
Shane Gordon has been out with a high ankle. Watch him come through the gaps. And this is, again, penetration in a goal line. Eifert that time went wide. He's got to read the inside linebacker coming. He misses the inside linebacker untouched. Shane Gordon, who's missed the last 2 weeks with a high ankle, makes a huge play.
So here's Brinza. Could be about a 20-yard field goal attempt. He already hit on a 37-yarder. And Brinza drives it through for another 3 points, but no touchdown for Notre Dame. So a victory of sorts for Pitt, big time, as their defense, which is depleted at linebacker with all sorts of injuries, comes up big and holds Notre Dame to a field goal. Tino Sunseri, the son of a football coach. Sound familiar to you, Mike? Will get another chance. He's been on that sideline seemingly forever.
I mean, his dad's the defensive coordinator at Tennessee. He's got a brother that's a defensive back at Alabama. And to me, there's no surprise why the kid has 13 touchdowns against 2 interceptions. He's a coach's son, and he gets it.
See him in just a moment as Cameron Sadler and Lafayette Pitts await the Brimsa kick. And this is going to be Pitts from about the 6. Again, leads the Big East in kickoff return yard average. And he'll set Sunseri and company up just across the 25-yard line as we take a look at our Adidas starting lineups with Pittsburgh's offense.
Tino Sunseri, Knoxville, Tennessee. Fun fact about me is I went to the same high school as Dan Marino and Mark Bolger.
Ryan Turnley, Hopewell, Pennsylvania. Our left guard, Chris Jacobson, has been at Pitt since 1975.
Cameron Sadler from Monroeville, PA, and I own Mike Shanahan in Madden.
So there you have it. Sadler owns Shanahan in the video game, and Sunseri, who did, yes, go to Dan Marino's Central Catholic High School in Pittsburgh. And he starts this drive off with a completion to Hubie Graham, who's close to a Pitt first down. Danny Spond on the coverage.
You know, this is why I like Sunseri. They tried to take a shot here, and Notre Dame doesn't give up shots. You're going to see vertical and vertical up here. But what's he do? He checks it down. Watch the coverage deep first. Deep vertical inside. Shanahan breaks it in. That's great coverage. So what do? Instead of throwing an interception, you take your time, you check it down. That's a 5th-year senior right there.
Sunseri leads the Big East in passing efficiency. He's 8th in the country. Doesn't make mistakes on 2nd and short. Looked like Pitt and Surge got the first down, but that might be close.
Did you see who's in the game? Big number 9, Lewis Nix, who's got a little bit of the flu. One of the top nose tackles in the country. He did not practice Tuesday or Wednesday, had an overnight stay in the infirmary, and I don't think we'll get many snaps out of him, but it looks like the big fella wants to get in the rotation.
And it was a first down for Pittsburgh, but back to Sunseri, who has gone 140+ straight passes now without an interception, just 2 for the entire year. And Sunseri rolls out and throws it out of bounds over the head of Mike Shanahan in a play that really never looked like it was going to happen.
Atypically of Sunseri, he got greedy that time. He had a flat receiver wide open for a 5-yard gain, and he didn't take it. Remember what I said at the beginning of the game? You got to be patient with this Notre Dame team. Take what they give you, and that's the first time where I'd say, hey, Tino, you got to pull the trigger there and hit the guy short in the flat and take it.
Mentioned his father, Sal, coached linebackers at Pitt, now the defensive coordinator at Tennessee. His brother, Sunseri's brother, Vinny, is a defensive back for Alabama, which has a pretty good test in Baton Rouge tonight against LSU. As Ray Graham, there's an example of the kind of runner he is. Looks for one hole, goes to the next. Nothing doing there either, though.
Yeah, as Bob Diaco said, he looks for the light, okay? And what that means in this scheme is he wants to find in this zone scheme to draw here, left, back to the right, now cut laterally. And the second thing it shows is how quick and well-coached Notre Dame is. And that time, Danny Spond did not let him get outside when he very easily could have.
Now on a passing down 3rd and 9, Ray Graham in the game. As Pitt tries to make something of this good field position to start this drive. Sunseri setting it up for Graham, and Graham has the first down. Graham was having that great junior year last year. We mentioned when he hurt his knee against Connecticut in the 8th game. It was such a good year, Mike, that he was actually may have been contemplating going to the NFL early had that season continued as well as it was going.
Oh, I think he would have gone, in all honesty, but I also think they're one of the best screen teams, halfback screen teams I've seen on tape this year, and that was a heck of a call for a first down.
That's a big gain of 13 for Graham inside the 45. Sunseri quickly to the air to the far side to street his favorite receiver, and he is close to another first down for Pitt on the move here. Under 5 left in the 2nd quarter.
Yeah, this time they bring Danny Spond off the edge, and this is a really good call because Spond comes here and they're going to throw the screen in behind him. One defender's gone. Now Devin Street catches the football. Shanahan one-on-one, and Bennett Jackson Teo make the tackle, but not before Street gets another first down.
Street in the big win over Temple had a 58-yard touchdown reception from Sunseri. That one good for a first down. as Pitt now has it at Notre Dame's 33. And Sunseri right back to Street. And Street's got another first down. Close to the 15-yard line before he's brought down by Kivari Russell. A gain of 18.
Yeah, Ishaq Williams got lost here. He didn't know what the heck was going on. He comes back late. It's wide open. It's a zone. People are going to say, "Why? Where's Russell? Why didn't he make that play?" Well, it's a zone, and he expected linebacker help in front of him, but Ishaq Williams was fooled by the run fake.
And you're getting a good example here in this drive of how hot Sunseri's been the last 6 games, throwing better than 71%. This time on the ground, it's Graham. And Graham close to the goal line.
Wow, wow, wow.
Not seen an indication yet of a touchdown, but apparently it is.
And what a great job the center does. Turnley, watch the center. Most centers can't get out in front of this. Turnley gets in front, gets the block on Fox. There's the cut up the field. Now does he stay in bounds? I think he did. Hard to tell, but I think he's in bounds, and that's a great block by Turnley and a wonderful run by Ray Graham.
So Harper on to attempt the extra point. He's perfect this year in that category, and Pitt with an impressive drive with Notre Dame trailing 10-6. Let's go down to Alex Flanagan.
So, Coach, you knew it would be a challenge to run against this team, yet Ray pops off a 55-yard run at the beginning of this game. How did that set the tone for you?
I think it always is going to give you some confidence, and, we've got a heck of a game going here, and we've got, we haven't been perfect. We got to clean up some things and play another 30 minutes. On
that last drive, they were effective at stopping the run game. How patient do you have to be with it in the second half?
You got to pick and choose your spots, I think, and then depending on what the the course of the game is. But we've got to try to do both and be efficient when we get a chance to throw. We got to get the ball in our hands. Obviously, they're very good defense, and our defense kind of struggled early, and then kind of I think it's finding the stride a little bit, and it's a ball game right now.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Paul Chris pretty much said it. Pitt 10, Notre Dame 6. Stay tuned for the Discover Card halftime report. Don't forget the halftime performances of Notre Dame and the Pittsburgh bands can be seen on NBCSports.com. We go to Jimmy Roberts in New York. Pittsburgh on the upset trail again, perhaps, at Notre Dame Stadium, leading the Irish 10-6 as we get ready for the start of the third quarter. As Tino Sunseri and the Pittsburgh offense will get their chance first this time. Everett Gholston did get off to a good start, but the Pittsburgh defense stiffened at some key times, and Ray Graham got in for the only touchdown of the game as Pitt tries to win its 3rd straight and make it a huge win over Notre Dame as we get ready for the second half. Brinza to kick off, and back deep again is Pitts and Sadler. And from the 5, it's going to be Lafayette Pitts to bring it out. And he will set up Pitt at its own 25 to begin the second half for Sunseri. As we take a look at the quarterback comparison, we mentioned Everett Gholston and Sunseri, brought to you by Lexus.
Sunseri again efficient. That's what we talked about. The 5th-year senior, no interceptions, no fumbles. By contrast, Gholston, he had a pretty good first half, and I thought Tommy Reese did a great job coming in for that final drive, and Notre Dame missed the field goal.
And pretty much everything we talked about before the game, Mike, that Pitt had to do: stay away from the turnovers, get leadership and consistent play from Sunseri, get some good rushing. That's happened. Use the play action to set up some good gains. That's happened as well. It's Ray Graham, who scored the only touchdown of the game in the first half, right down there to the first down marker to start things off, brought down by Matthias Farley, who's playing with a cast today for Notre Dame.
And Turnley, the center again. I always get impressed when I see a center who can pull out in front on the outside zone or stretch play. He gets the cut block on Teo. We haven't said much about Teo today, and that's because Turnley's done a real nice job. Corey King, the left tackle, also a nice job on the second level.
There's the cast on Farley, who had a fractured bone in the top of his thumb, had surgery on Monday, but was back at practice Tuesday and Wednesday, and this time they bottle up Graham. Did he get the first down? It'll depend on where they spot it. Manti Teo there along up front. There's a look at the cast by Farley. Had 2 plates, 4 to 6 screws put in it, but was back on the field, and here he is.
Remember, he missed that tackle on Ray Graham's 15-yard touchdown run. And I don't know if it's because he couldn't wrap up adequately or not, but he did miss that tackle.
Well, it's a first down for Pittsburgh at the 35. Leading 10-6. Sunseri to work to the air again, and it's caught by Mark Jubilato, who is used sparingly as far as carries and receptions go, but Jubilato able to haul it in for a short gain of 2 or 3.
And again, I have no problem at all with Sunseri checking that down. If you're a Pitt fan, let's stay on schedule. At 2nd and 7, that's a win. 2nd and 10 is not.
Jubilato, a former walk-on who earned a scholarship here for Pitt. Sunseri now with Ray Graham in the backfield. And Sunseri goes over the middle and sets it up to the freshman J.P. Holtz, who's got clear field in front of him. Holtz gets down inside the 10-yard line before Russell finally brings him down. 1st and goal Pitt after a gain of 44.
Watch all the Notre Dame defenders flow to what looks like a screen to the running back. Ray Graham's coming this way. Watch them all flow, and then the tight end checks over the middle for a middle screen. So they fake the screen to the right. Holtz comes back with the middle screen, and again, great hustle by Kivare Russell to save a touchdown.
So of all names, it's a guy with a last name of Holtz who has a huge gain to set up Pittsburgh from the 9-yard line of Notre Dame. Under 6 minutes left in the third, Sunseri to the end zone, and Holtz for the score.
Wow. And that time, both Zeke Mata and Danny Spahn were fooled by play action. Watch the movement from both Notre Dame defenders as they come up once they think it's Ray Graham. Here they come. Everybody's open. And I give Joe Rudolph, the offensive coordinator, a ton of credit for calling a great game, and I give Sunseri credit for executing it.
Holtz, a true freshman, 6'4", 245-pounder out of Pittsburgh. Harper with the extra point, and just like that, after the Tommy Rees turnover, Pittsburgh turns it into another touchdown. It's 2nd of the game to take a 17-6 lead. J.P. Holtz with a couple of big catches for the Panthers. So with J.P. Holtz's touchdown catch, Pitt with 17 points has already attained the highest point total by any Notre Dame opponent this season. And there's still just short of 6 minutes left in the third quarter. And we get the indication that Rees is not going to start this series on offense for Notre Dame, and that Gholston will be back in. So back and forth, Kelly goes with his quarterbacks as George Atkinson returns the Harper kick, and it's a good one just across the 30 before he's knocked out of bounds. So he's back in, and he's got Eifert.
And Dan, that's where they got to go. Eifert had 3 catches in the first quarter, and that's the first time they've gotten back to him. And I don't think Pitt's doing anything differently now. Look at it, it's man-to-man against a linebacker, Todd Thomas. You got to take advantage of that all day long. Remember in the first quarter, it was man-to-man with that same guy.
And now they're inside their own 45. Gholston gets back to the line of scrimmage, and that's it. Andrew Taglianetti.
Boy, is that a great hustle play by Taglianetti, who's their nickel defender. Came off the slot, and again, I talk about defensive backs seeing it and trusting it. He's going to come from over here. When he sees quarterback run, he trusts his eyes and he drives on the football. This is the same kid that as a freshman blocked a punt right here in this stadium.
Taglianetti, a familiar name to you hockey fans out there. His dad, Peter, former Pittsburgh Penguin who played for a couple of Stanley Cup teams.
3rd and 12. Could sense the second half. The Irish have had absolutely no rhythm. Somebody needs to make a play.
Gholston looking for some time, buying some more time. That's complete. Nope. It's in and out of the arms of T.J. Jones, and the Irish will have to punt.
What they wanted that time was Tyler Eifert. Okay, and I give this Pitt team a ton of credit. Eifert's here, and he's going to run a wheel route up the sideline. They're trying to get the throwback to him. Pitt covers it beautifully once again. They're all over it. He's got to pull the football down, and it's not there.
Ben Turk with an excellent punt. Sadler comes back to the 7-yard line, but makes something out of it. Wow. Across the 30. And close to the 40.
Dan Hicks, they got it going everywhere here. Pitt. Offense, defense, and special teams.
Good punt by Turk, 47 yards, but a great return by Sadler brings it back 31 yards to set Pitt already up 17-6 at its own 39. 161 straight passes without an interception. Sunseri trying to keep it a clean game and keep their upset hopes alive. Ray Graham with some more room, picking the hole like we've seen him do all game long, and Graham is loose up the sidelines inside the 15-yard line before Zeke Mata finally brings him down after a gain of 46.
Oh man, is this gorgeous. And this is just zone blocking. The left side of the line is going to come out like this, and watch him run the daylight and watch the move he makes in the hole. It's wide open. Watch his cut right there. Lateral jump cut. He gets beyond two people, including Bennett Jackson, down the sideline. Ray Graham, you are putting on a show, young man. Jump cut. Zeke Mata said, uh-oh. Wow, that's good.
A show of 12 carries and 142 yards for Graham, who has set Pitt up on a doorstep again. Why not give it to him again, but this time no gain. Second and goal, Bennett Jackson, the first to meet him.
Yeah, Bennett Jackson came off the edge and beat the block of Jubilato. Really did a sweet job of getting under Jubilato's block and being physical on the tackle.
You thought J.P. Holtz's touchdown catch quieted the 80,000 plus. Ray Graham and Pittsburgh here have really given Notre Dame Stadium a quiet feel right now.
This is a reality check right here. You're rocking and rolling. You're 8-0. You're 3-0. You're talking about how the computers work to get into the national championship. And by the way, Pitt's coming in and whipping your butt right now. So this is where the rubber hits the road.
Second and goal from the 3. The fake to Graham. Sunseri pressure. Lofted it up to the end zone to Holtz, incomplete. Oh, boy. And good coverage there by Shembo, who was on the freshman tight end.
Yeah, they got the matchup they wanted because they got their tight end on Prince Shembo, who's not used to dropping in coverage. If Shembo turns his head, here's the tight end. If Shembo turns his head, he's got a pick here. But he's just trying to shadow him. Look at him. He doesn't turn and look for the football. He gets very fortunate there's no contact, or that would have been an interference call.
Shembo waving at air there. Third and goal now for Sunseri. Notre Dame trying to hold Pitt to at least a field goal attempt here. Devin Street unable to get it. And it will be a field goal attempt for Pitt. So Notre Dame holds on first and goal.
And Sunseri and Devin Street had a disconnect there. They read two different things. And a good job by Kivari Russell. It's man coverage up top. The quarterback's throwing back shoulder, and the receivers run and fade. They're not reading the same thing. As a result, it forces the field goal attempt.
And in comes Kevin Harper to attempt a 21-yarder to give Pitt a 20-6 lead. High snap, but it's able to be brought down, and Harper busts it through to increase the Pitt lead to 14. With just under a minute left in the third quarter.
Pitt's fired up, as they should be.
20-6. As George Atkinson awaits the Harper kick.
Atkinson's been quiet on the kickoff return trail after 2 kickoff return touchdowns a year ago as a freshman.
This kick kind of popped up by Harper, so Atkinson comes up at about the 13 and gets it just about to the 30-yard line. Malcolm Crockett with a special teams tackle on Atkinson. Irish has quickly moved it to the Panther 45. Gholston rolling out, looking for somebody, going to keep it, and is short of the first down marker. Eric Williams brings him down, but that's what Brian Kelly kind of talked about with us yesterday. He said, you know what, we've got leaders and veterans here with scars. Right. They've been through some past seasons where things have not gone their way, and they've had some very tough times. So he didn't feel like he was going to have that kind of complacency at any point from this group. But they are in a fight today, trailing 20-6. Will return to Notre Dame Stadium after these messages from your local station. End of the third quarter, you're watching Notre Dame football on NBC. A look at our score by quarters, brought to you by Lexus. They traded field goals in the first quarter. Ray Graham got the only touchdown of the first half. It was Pitt with a 10-6 halftime lead. They added another touchdown with J.P. Holtz on a 9-yard touchdown reception. Couple of big receptions for Holtz to make it 17-6. Harper has added another field goal, so we're at 20-6 as we start the fourth quarter. And Notre Dame with a 2nd down and 1. And Gholston going deep down the field to Eifert. That was Jason Hendricks alongside the spectacular tight end.
And I like the shot, though, because it looks like one-on-one. He's working on the small corner Williams. Good job by Hendricks coming over late and getting a piece. If Hendricks doesn't get there, Eifert makes the catch. Hits him right in the face mask.
And how many times have we seen Eifert with those acrobatic catches?
No, Hendricks was smart. He came off his guy early because he had eyes on the quarterback.
3rd and 4 now for Gholston in the offense.
Got to find Eifert. He's by himself against the corner.
Gholston going the other side to Jones. It's incomplete. Lafayette Pitts. One of the Panthers' best defenders was on Jones.
Now, I'm not sure why you picked that when Eifert's one-on-one with a corner on the bottom. Look, he's one-on-one here. It's 3rd and 4. You need a 1st down. I know it's 4-down territory already, but look, that corner's given up big cushion. Why not just throw the football to Eifert and get your 1st down? Move the chains.
So now 4th and 4. Notre Dame going for the 1st down here, trailing 20-6.
Now the question is it press man or are they going to get help here? Because Eifert's the guy to throw it to.
And there is Eifert, batted away by Williams.
And a flag.
And a flag comes in.
And that's why you throw it to Eifert.
Williams can't believe it.
Pass interference, defense number 2. 1st down.
Again, it's the 5'10 right. Williams against the 6'6 Eifert.
And he's pressing him. And remember, he got beaten press. And that's a good job by the tight end of beating him back inside. I'm not sure how much.
You agree with that call?
No, I don't think I do, as a matter of fact. I don't like the throw that Everett Gholston made, to be honest with you. I thought it was a poor throw.
So 1st and 10, Gholston moves the offense to the right, comes back the other way to Jones in for the touchdown for Notre Dame. So how big was that last call?
We're going to go back to that call in a minute and get another look at that pass interference. But right now, the screen back to Jones becomes the biggest play of the game. T.J. Jones, that's a corner blitz. Safety plays soft. Really good block by Eifert, and that's why the play worked, because Eifert hustled to make the block on the safety Hendricks.
So T.J. Jones in for the 11-yard score, which was kept alive by the pass interference call, and there is Brinza missing the extra point. So 20-12. Pitt continues to lead. 13:40 left in the game. The big call. Was this pass interference on Williams?
No way. Defensive back has the same right to the football as the receiver. Both hands are up in the air. He gets a left hand on the football. They might want to say that he got the hands on him early. I'm not buying any of it. And then Brinza complicates matters by pulling left the extra point. So now it's an 8-point game. And if Notre Dame were fortunate enough to score a touchdown, they'd have to go for 2 to tie it.
That's the first missed PAT of the season for Brinza. So it's 20-12. That interference call on Williams coming on a 4th and 4 situation for Notre Dame. So that is how big that was. We'll see how big it eventually is with 13:40 left in the game.
Yeah, I really don't like that call.
So Brinza sends it back down to Lafayette Pitts. And Pitts with a good return across the 35, trying to cut it back, and gets across the 40-yard line. So the Panthers will set up in good position. Notre Dame trying to stay unbeaten, keeping hopes alive for a national championship. Ray Graham has had a huge game, but gets nothing here. Pinned in by Manti Te'o. Schembel was on the scene. Williams as well.
What did defensive coordinator Bob Diaco tell us about Ray Graham? He will keep squirting laterally until he finds daylight. And sometimes he breaks a big one, other times next to nothing. But he is so quick laterally.
Ray Graham with 153 yards rushing for Pitt. 2nd and 8 after the gain of 2. Sunseri, this complete to Shanahan, and he's got a first down inside Notre Dame territory to the 43. Gain of 13.
And they've run this play all day long. The inside receiver is going to clear, and Shanahan's going to come back under Danny Fox, wide open. Linebackers are pressing a little bit too deep with the pattern going clear on the clearing route.
They spotted at the 44, 1st and 10. Manti Te'o in the Notre Dame defense trying to rise to the occasion and put a stop on Pitt here. This is Ray Graham again catching it out of the backfield. Manti Te'o, who's all of a sudden gotten very active on the stop.
Yeah, and they're trying to block him on this screen pass. Trust me, they've identified Te'o all game long. Watch him beat the block on his way to make the tackle on screen. Tight end's coming across, tries to block him. He goes inside the block and makes the clean hit.
Ball just outside the 40.
We'll talk about a guy that trusts it when he sees it. Well, there's 2 of them that trust it. Ray Graham and Manti Te'o.
Tight end Hubie Graham in motion to the left side, and once again Graham stopped by Dan Fox. One of only 2 starters to come back from last year. We had a conversation with Dan Fox. He talked about how he has no problem sharing the playing time with Carlo Calabrese. He said they formed a brotherhood in the workout rooms this summer in the offseason. And Dan Fox with a nice stop there to make it 3rd down and 6.
And this is huge. They convert the first down here, they get in field goal territory. You stop them here, you probably force a punt.
Sunseri steps up, has no one to go to, and Stephon Tuitt is right there to bring up 4th down.
Interesting here, you know, and Pitt's trying to make a decision, but they're going man coverage, which Notre Dame typically doesn't do. Okay, they're going to go man to man and get after Sunseri here. Diaco dialing up a little pressure. Really good coverage by Notre Dame, forced the 4th down.
So Pitt forced a punt. It'll be Matt Yocklett, and again Devontae Neal from Notre Dame standing at his own 9. Devontae Neal lets it sail over his head, and Pitt has Notre Dame pinned down deep.
Chris Davis.
So good. That's special teams play there for Pitt. They have a 20-12 lead under 10 minutes left. So Notre Dame trailing now at its own 2-yard line. 20-12, 9:57 left. Gholston, who's been in and out of the game, pass complete to Toma. They'll bring up 2nd down.
That's a nervous situation for a redshirt freshman quarterback coming out of his own end zone, rolling to his left. You got to be careful. He almost threw it behind his receiver, and there was good coverage by Eric Williams.
So a big test here by the redshirt freshman Everett Gholston, who for the moment is the guy that Kelly's going with to try to bring Notre Dame back.
Yeah, he brings that added dimension. He doesn't always read things as quickly or efficiently as Tommy Rees, but he's got a pair of legs that'll get him first downs.
Needs 4 for a first down here, and the legs are going to get it for Gholston and more. Cross the 30. Up to the 35-yard line. Jared Holly finally brought Gholston down after a 27-yard gain.
X factor, right? He's going to drop back to pass. He doesn't always see things, especially when he's in the pocket. But when he sees that lane open, the only thing you don't like is the way he holds the football. Somebody's going to strip him one of these days, and Kawan Williams almost does. But he holds that ball very loosely when he's out of the pocket.
Gholston 8 carries for 49 yards. 1st and 10. We're concentrating on football. And Gholston with the first down inside the 45-yard line of Pitt. With 8 minutes left, another 1st and 10 for Notre Dame after a gain of 16 by Gholston.
Yeah, watch the right tackle and the tight end. They do a great job on planned quarterback run. Lombard gets a block. Eifert gets a block from inside out. That was gorgeous. And again, when you involve the quarterback in the run game, you get an extra blocker. Offensive coaches call it out-gapping the defense. That was beautifully done.
And the 9th play on the ground to Sierra Wood. Haven't seen a lot of him in the second half. Wood brought down by Williams, who's been all over the field. Gain of 7 for Wood.
Pretty cool, isn't it, huh? I mean, this to me is what college football is all about. You got a packed stadium. You've got the #3 team in the country down 8 with under 6 minutes to go. This is it. You get a gut check on both sides. I love this.
2nd and 3. Notre Dame looking for the first down. Today's first down line brought to you by Xerox. This is Riddick. He's got the first down for the Irish.
Really good job on the double team.
This has been a methodical, effective drive by Notre Dame.
Here's the double team right here on a good football player, Aaron Donald, and there's the cutback.
As they're all the way down to the 21-yard line of Pitt, trailing by 8. The fake to Riddick. Gholston up top looking for Eifert. Incomplete.
Yeah,
Todd Thomas on the coverage that time.
Yeah, and that was pre-planned the entire way. Into the boundary, trying to free him on a little wheel route. He's just going to come down and up, crisscross. Really good coverage again by the linebacker, Todd Thomas. Todd Thomas missed a lot of the season. He's back. Probably the most athletic of all their linebackers, and he brings a different dimension. He's been man-to-man with that Eifert a lot of the day.
So 2nd and 10 for Gholston and the Notre Dame offense. Dancing around, flushed out to the right, and simply throws it away. 3rd and 10.
3rd and 10. Let's think this through now. Down 8. Field goal only brings you within 5. If you kick a field goal, if they don't get it on this 3rd and 10 situation, you kick a field goal and it's a 5-point game, it doesn't get you a whole lot because you might not get the football back. So Brian Kelly's got to be thinking a play ahead here and whether or not he's in 4-down territory right now.
All their timeouts, both teams. And Gholston at the first down marker is Eifert. He's got it.
He really fit this in, and this is a big arm throw right here. He's going to fit it in between the dime defender and the corner, Kawan Williams. Good throw right there, no question. Vinipal, number 9, closing on it. Ooh, big arm.
Gain of 11 for Eifert. 1st and goal. Ball is just inside the 10. Gholston showing that arm strength to pick up the first down. They get it on the ground to Riddick again. And he gains a couple. 2nd and goal. Clock continuing to roll. 4.5 minutes left. Notre Dame trying to stay unbeaten and go to 9-0 for the first time in nearly 20 years. Brian Kelly in his 3rd season at Notre Dame, and it's amazing. You look at the past national championships won by Notre Dame coaches, by Leahy and by all the great ones. They came in that 3rd season, but we're a long way away from such talk. Notre Dame just trying to stay in the conversation, but have to get a victory today against Pitt. And this one is picked off by Williams in the end zone.
With Everett Gholston, you take the good with the bad. And his best receiver, Tyler Eifert, was wide open. Notre Dame got what they wanted, and he made the wrong decision. Now, Eifert is outside. He's going to sit down. Look at him, wide open. And instead, he comes back to Nicholas in the corner of the end zone, and Kawan Williams, victimized on the pass interference, makes a great play.
Amazing. Williams with the interception. Everett Gholston with a costly turnover for Notre Dame. Second interception. Reese threw the first one. That was huge for Pitt. The interception ending a 15-play, 91-yard drive. On second and goal, Gholston intercepted by K1 Williams.
Todd Thomas, the linebacker, gets lost, which is why tight end Eifert's going to be wide open. He turns his back, he's lost. Gholston makes the wrong decision, never sees K1 Williams, and that's the difference in a touchdown or a turnover.
And now Notre Dame in a big hole with 4 minutes left. Trailing 20-12, they were on the doorstep. That was second and goal before that interception. So Pitt takes over at its own 20. The fake to Graham. Sunseri looking for Graham. Smart play. And just throws it into the ground.
They were trying to get a big play there. That's an interesting play call because they thought they had Devin Street up top. They went heavy play action and they wanted this guy up top. And when it wasn't there, then he went back to the screen. See, the safety bites, but he comes back to the screen, and that's just a smart play. 2nd and 10, no big deal. But it does stop the clock.
Sunseri fumbles the ball and just covers it up. And Lewis Nix in there with a little activity.
You know, earlier in the game, Ryan Turnley snapped it at the wrong time. This time, Sunseri just lets one go right through his hands. And this is interesting because there's still plenty of time. I mean, Notre Dame's got over 3 minutes and 3 timeouts remaining. So this is, if you're a Notre Dame fan, this is the biggest play of the season for you until they get the ball back. You got to stop them right here.
3rd and 14. Pitt has yet to convert a 3rd down situation this half. Sunseri dumps it out to Graham, and he's upended there.
That helps Notre Dame because he went out of bounds.
Yep, Russell upended him, and then he went out of bounds, and it stopped the clock with 3:06 left, and Pitt will punt, and Notre Dame will get it back with 3 minutes to go.
Again, if you're a Notre Dame fan, you couldn't have had a better series. Incomplete pass, stops the clock. That play there at the end, completed pass, out of bounds, stops the clock.
Well, Mike, it appeared that the Panther receiver was out of bounds. You mentioned it, and the clock would stop, but Brian Kelly and the Irish calling a timeout there.
Because the clock continued to run, and I don't know if that was a mistake by the clock operator or not.
Here's Yaklik, and Devontae Neal comes up to midfield. And so Notre Dame will have excellent field position with 3:03 left on just a 35-yard punt by Yaklik. Ball right at midfield. Notre Dame with just the 2 timeouts left now. Gholston at the controls on 1st and 10. Dancing around, plenty of time. And goes deep down the field toward the middle, and it's complete to Daniels. 1st and goal, Notre Dame.
Oh boy, if you dance around there long enough, I know as a former defensive back, that's the most frustrating thing in the world. You got everybody covered, and then when that scramble drill starts, guys start sprinting in different locations and chaos ensues. Daniels deep, he's covered. He's covered, he's covered. Uh-oh, scramble drill, I'm going deep. And what happens? They throw the ball up in the air. Jason Hendricks loses sight of the ball, which is a cardinal sin as a defensive back in zone coverage.
And Daniels has been the go-to receiver in this game for Notre Dame. His 7th catch, 86 yards total. That one good for 45. Gholston wants to run it on 1st and goal. Now he's thinking about passing it to the end zone. Touchdown, Notre Dame. Theo Riddick.
You know, that's 2 consecutive plays that weren't planned. These are both scramble rules, and you're going to see Theo here Look at it. It's supposed to be a quarterback run. Theo Riddick now is in the end zone saying, I'm wide open. Tribbets can't get there. And a heck of a throw and a catch, and they've got to go for 2 here.
2:11 left. Notre Dame setting up for the 2-point conversion. That was Riddick's first receiving touchdown of the year, a big one. But this play is huge. Trailing by 2. Gholston buying some more time. Is he going to run this in? Yes! Reaches for the 2-point conversion, and we're tied at 20 with 2:11 left. Suddenly, Notre Dame Stadium is pumped up again. Gholston reaching for the 2-point conversion to tie it up. Well, if Brian Kelly saw his redshirt freshman come of age on the road in Norman, Oklahoma last week with a big week and a game over the Sooners, he has seen him come of age in a different way today here at Notre Dame Stadium. 2-play drive, 50 yards, the big 45-yard strike to Daniels, the 5-yard toss to Riddick, and then Gholston in for the 2-point conversion to tie it at 20.
All after a horrible interception, which shows me something about the kid, and all 3 of those plays were improv.
So 2:11 left. Notre Dame trying to go to 9-0. Pitt's going to have the ball here with all 3 of its timeouts left. Brinza puts it in the air. And Pitts has had several good returns today, and he hurdles over the 25 all the way up to the 35-yard line. So good field position for the veteran Sunseri to see if he can pull it off. So how aggressive are you here, Mike, if you're Pitt with an experienced quarterback in Sunseri with a couple of timeouts in his pocket?
You're 4-4. You got a 5th-year senior. You're at Notre Dame Stadium. You got a chance for a huge upset. Don't be dumb, but trust your quarterback.
Sunseri in his 3rd year as the starter for Pittsburgh. And by far in Paul Chris's first season, has having his best season. He's in trouble, gets rid of it. It's caught by Graham. It could have been picked off. A number of things could have happened. But in the end, it's a completion.
I'll tell you right.
Unbelievable.
Shembo gets the pressure over here. Now, Teo drives on the football. If Ray Graham doesn't come back through the ball, Teo might be dancing in the end zone as we speak.
So Graham gets back to the line of scrimmage after the catch. 2nd and 10. Clock rolling, less than 30 seconds to go. This one is complete to Shanahan. And still no timeout called by Pitt until now. 18 seconds left, 1 timeout left for Pitt. 3rd and 6, ball on the ground to Graham.
I don't even know why you call the timeout there if you're going to run draw. Notre Dame has no timeouts left.
And now Pitt content to just let it run out. And Notre Dame is going to head to its 2nd overtime game of the season.
Oh, yeah.
They came out on top of Stanford earlier in the year.
This is fun, man. This is really fun.
But they complete a 4th quarter rally. We talked about it earlier, how twice in the 3 previous occasions that the Pitt football team has come to Notre Dame Stadium, they have come away with victories, and they have been classic outcomes. 4 years ago here, the game went to 4 overtimes. Pat Bostic's TD pass to John Baldwin late in the 4th sent the game to OT after they traded field goals for 3 overtimes. Brandon Walker missed from 39 yards in the 4th overtime, and then Connerly's 22-yard field goal was good. Pittsburgh won that game 36-33. So here in another overtime affair, Notre Dame is with Pitt 4 years later, trying to go to 9-0 and keep the national championship hopes alive. So Pitt starts out on offense first in this overtime from the 25. Wow.
Fumble the
ball
snap
on the ground again. Sunseri has had all sorts of exchange problems today.
Yeah, that's the first time under center he's had a problem. The other two are out of the gun, and that's the last thing you want your first snap in overtime. That was, you know what happened there? The center went early. Nobody else moved except the center, Turnley. And Sunseri wasn't ready for the football. So Turnley was snapping and pulling, and Sunseri wasn't ready.
So the ball at the 21, 2nd and 6. And this is Graham up the middle, short of the first down. That'll bring up 3rd down.
You know, it goes without saying that every play is critical in overtime, but 3rd and 4, if you get a stop here, you force the field goal attempt. Teo's fired up out there. Lewis Nix getting more snaps than I expected today.
There's Graham in the backfield with Sunseri. Sunseri looking across the middle. Shanahan had it and dropped it. And Sunseri took a hit.
And that's Elijah Shoemate's 4th pass broken up of the season. The freshman nickelback was all over Shanahan. The 5th time Shanahan's had his hands on the football. Pressure, big hit on the quarterback. Again, I don't understand Shanahan dropping the football. Good coverage, but catch the ball.
So here's Harper on to attempt a 41-yard field goal, already 2 for 2 in the game. Snap, hold good, and so is the kick. So 23-20 Pitt. And Notre Dame knows exactly where it stands when they get the ball.
Yeah, and let's keep in mind with a clean hold, snap, and kick, let's keep in mind the flip side for Notre Dame on the kicking side. Brinza has missed an extra point and a field goal from 43 yards earlier in the game. So Brinza has been shaky. Yaklik hasn't.
Here is Gholston. Out of the shotgun. Waits back in the pocket. Incomplete. Daniels was over there on the sideline.
Daniels started to move away from the sideline as his quarterback Gholston started to scramble, and then Gholston came back to him late. So just a little disconnect there. I keep saying, where is Tyler Eifert? You got to find him, and you got to get the football to him.
Keep it on the ground to Riddick, and Riddick is met very quickly by Eric Williams and company.
Yeah, Eric Williams is a good football player. He's the Sam or outside strong linebacker. Very athletic, tough kid. He goes off the field as they match up now in their nickel and dime group. Taglianetti is in. Vinipal is in. 6 defensive backs.
On 3rd and 9. And there is Eifert lining up just outside of Christian Lombard, the right tackle. Play action. Gholston rolling, wants to run it, looking for some room, gets it to the 20, but that's it. 4th down, and that will bring on Brinza.
That's Gholston on bootleg. I think he was intending to run that the whole time.
So it's now all on Brinza. 2 for 3 thus far. They're going to spot it at the 27. It'll be a 37-yard attempt to tie it. And the kick is good. It wasn't particularly pretty. It kind of wobbled its way inside the left upright. But Notre Dame stays alive.
Oh, this is fun. This is fun. You're right. This was not pretty.
Look at Turk. That was a nice grab kind of over his right shoulder, and Brinza
just inside. Yep. That's all right.
Through.
It's worth 3, right? It's worth 3. That's all that matters.
Notre Dame starts off this overtime session, and incomplete. Gholston is 2nd down and 10.
Yeah, they're trying to get the football to Tyler Eifert and or T.J. Jones. Watch Eifert get out there. He's faking the block and up the field. Pitt's doing a great job of identifying everywhere he goes. They're trying to find ways to get it to him, but Pitt's all over him.
Eifert, 6 catches, 62 yards today. And the leading receiver for Notre Dame has been Daniels, number 10. Left side to Wood, and Wood with good room. Picks up the first down. Gain of 11 for Wood.
Watch Eifert. This is what I'm telling people. This is why he's different this year. Great job taking that defensive end up the field, Devin Cook, and Sierra gets in behind him.
So the ball at the 14-yard line. Sierra Wood with 62 yards on the ground today. Gholston has more yards on the ground today than Wood with 65.
Unbalanced to the right.
Here's Riddick. Riddick busting through for a pretty good game. Jason Hendricks knocks him down.
So they went unbalanced to the right, and Tyler Eifert came back on a wind back block, key block on the defensive end. What I like about this kid is even though every team is targeting him to try and take him out of their pass game, he's becoming a dominant force in the run game.
Ball's at the 10-yard line. Gain of 4. 2nd and 6. Again, if you just joined us, Notre Dame trailed 20-6 going into the 4th quarter. Tied it up on a 2-point conversion by Gholston. Both teams have exchanged field goals in the first overtime session. This is Notre Dame's possession in the second OT here. And on the ground is Wood. Joe Trebitz on the stop for Pitt.
Trebitz has had an awful lot of tackles for a 5th-year senior who's never started a game in his life. He had 6 tackles at halftime and been very, very active. Impressed with this kid.
Short of the first down. That'll bring up 3rd and 3.
Notre Dame shifting some personnel groupings. They've only got 1 tight end on the field now. Eifert, who's in line with 3 wide receivers. Wouldn't be surprised to see Gholston roll to his right.
3rd and 3. Trying to pick up the first down, keep the touchdown hopes alive, and it's a first down for Wood. 1st and goal for Notre Dame.
Good hard run. Trebitz again made the hit, but Wood had enough going. They're running their outside zone play to the left. He gets the cut in behind Chris Watt. That offensive line gets enough push that you have a 1st and goal situation.
1st and goal. Ball is just inside the goal.
Ball just at about the 3-yard line.
I feel like Notre Dame's getting a little push in the run game now, getting Pitt's defense tired out.
This time Gholston out of the shotgun. Yes, they're going to run it. Left side, Gholston gets a yard down to the 2.
Linebacker Trebitz again involved with that.
Gholston to the 2.
Remember, we went back in the first half and talked about that goal line stand could cost Notre Dame at some point in the game. So you don't put it in on a goal line stand. You miss a field goal. You miss an extra point. If they lose this game, they've got nobody to blame but themselves.
Ball on the 2. 2nd and goal.
2 tight ends changing the strength. It's now unbalanced right.
And they hand it off to Wood. He fumbles the ball, and Pitt has it. Jared Hawley recovered the fumble by Wood.
I think Jason Hendricks, the other safety, is the one that knocked it loose when Wood went in the air.
The ruling on the field is a fumble in the field of play, recovered by Pittsburgh in the end zone. It is a touchback. The ruling is under further review.
Going to take another look at this.
Yeah, no doubt. Now, this would have been a touchdown if he holds onto the football. As he elevates, look at 25, Hendricks right there. Gets him low.
The
ball's loose. There's no doubt in my mind that they made the right call. And ultimately, Holly jumps on it. And Notre Dame's going to get shut out on the first part of this overtime, and all Pitt needs is a field goal to win the game.
Is that going to cost Notre Dame's unbeaten season? That play right there.
Turnovers. How many turnovers does Notre Dame have tonight? Is that their third one?
3. The 2 interceptions in that one.
And
there.
How many does Pitt have? 0. -3 in the turnover differential. The difference between this season and last season, to me, was the turnovers. -3, you don't win many football games.
Field is confirmed.
Yep, good call.
So Sierra Wood with a costly fumble.
Good call. Now let's see what, this is fun. Let's see what we got going here now. You got a chance to make a play defensively, or a chance for a Pitt kid to make a play offensively.
Well, you talk about it all year long, how good Notre Dame is in this compressed type of field position. But again, they just need a, field goal.
That's the difference.
They just need the field goal. But so you get the feeling that Notre Dame has to come up big. Somebody's got to make a big play here.
It's a lost yardage situation, because at the 25-yard line, worst case scenario, it's what, a 43-yard field goal attempt.
And Harper's been pretty solid all game. Ray Graham gets down to the 21 for a gain of 4. 2nd and 6.
Good job with the double team play side. Graham holds on to the football. Pitt can smell it. Pitt smells it right now. In all honesty, Pitt has played a more solid football game.
Again, eerily reminiscent of 10 years ago when Ty Willingham's team was 8-0. Before the loss to the Boston College. Graham goes right up the middle, gets a few more yards, short of the first down, but again, all they need is a field goal from Kevin Harper, who's already hit from 39, 21, and 41 in the game.
Bob Diaco blitzed people off both edges that time, and he has to. He's got to take some chances here.
3rd down and a long one.
Would you think they might come back to somewhere to their left to try to get the football in the middle of the field to kick the field goal? I think an inside zone to Ray Graham. There it is. Except he decided to cut it back.
So it's going to come down to Kevin Harper.
It's quiet as a church in here right now.
Again, there's what he's done already in this game. Senior from Ohio, trying to give Paul Chryst a big upset here at Notre Dame Stadium. They're going to spot the ball 23. It'll be a 33-yard attempt to send Notre Dame to its first loss of this season. Snap a little high, gets it down. Here's the kick, and it's no good. Just outside the right upright. Notre Dame's hopes alive.
David Murphy, the short snapper, delivered a high snap in a critical situation. That snap causes the timing to miss just a little bit.
That didn't miss by much.
No, it didn't. Yaklik does a good job. Look how high. It's above his helmet. He gets it down, twists it.
Yeah, he did a good job of getting it down for Harper, but
see, when I used to hold, when the snap is like that, you don't always get the angle the kicker prefers. You're just trying to get the ball down in the laces. So if you don't get the angle where it's tilted back towards you, the ball won't hook.
Chris thought it was going through.
So did
his whole team was ready to celebrate on the field.
Oh, man.
But now we go to overtime number 3.
Oh, man. Sierra Wood saved right there, huh?
All of these seniors for Notre Dame, can't help but think about them.
Yep.
Like a Manti Te'o and a Tyler Eifert. This is one of the reasons they stayed. Did not go to the NFL, so they'd have a chance here in their senior year to maybe win a national title. But here's Ray Graham right back to work for Pitt as we begin the 3rd overtime. And he gets maybe 4 yards down to the 21. Graham's got 172 yards on the ground today.
Both coaches somewhat conservative in these overtimes, running the football. Can't say I blame them. But pretty soon, Sunseri's going to take a shot here.
Sunseri wanted to go to the end zone, but down he goes to step onto it. Lewis Nix was also in there to bring him down.
What a great job by Lewis Nix. They wanted Devin Street, but Lewis Nix, who remember was sick earlier this week, spent a night in the infirmary, does a great job on Ryan Turnley. Even though he gets held, he cleanly gets the sack. Tuitt cleans it up after him. And now it makes it not only a 3rd and long, but a much more difficult field goal if that's what happens.
Ball backed up to the 27. So if that was a line of scrimmage, it would be about a 43-yard field goal. So it's made a field goal much difficult, perhaps, for Harper. For sure it has. That's going to bring up 4th down. And that's going to be the situation for Harper.
First time all day I saw Drew Carswell in the lineup, the tight end he tried to hit it to. Okay.
Yep, it's going to be about a 44-yarder. Coming off the last miss, 33. Yaklik is the holder. Murphy's the snapper. We'll see if they can get a little more in concert here from 44 yards out. Another little bit of a high snap, but this time Harper is able to drill it through.
Okay, now you're the home team in baseball. You know what you need. You're down 3 here. Snap a little high, as you said, Dan, but Yaklik does a good job. Gets it down, tilts it. Oh,
wow. That was the power fade.
And you don't usually see that with kickers. If anything, a right-footed kicker kicks it right to left. And the power fade, man. I'm wondering if 3-9 was a little worried when it came off his foot.
Well, it's been a wild day for Harper. He's attempted 5. He's made 4. So now Notre Dame with its overtime shot here in the 3rd session.
And like the first 2, they put the ball in the left hash, which they're allowed to do, so they can get the wide field to the right.
Gholston fakes, wheels to his right, going for the end zone. Out of bounds.
Interesting play there.
They went T.J. Jones.
Yeah, they went unbalanced and then rolled bootleg back away from the unbalance, looking to make a play. So there's only a guard and tackle on one side. Bootleg. They get the hips turned to the defensive back Pitts, but it's not a great throw.
2nd and 10. Notre Dame needs at least a field goal to tie it. Touchdown will win it. Gholston over the middle, complete to Riddick. 1st down, Notre Dame. Trebitz on the coverage, gain of 12.
Yeah, he looked deep. I like this because he read a progression here. He wanted Daniels deep. It wasn't there. So he comes back down to Riddick coming across. He looks left to Daniels, and then he get a little jerk route from Theo Riddick. Jerk route is a little hesitation move that typically makes a linebacker look bad.
So Notre Dame in excellent shape for a possible field goal, but a touchdown will win it for them. Ball at the 14. Gholston hands it off to Riddick. Dances his way down close to the 10 before Trebitz and company push him back.
Nice job by Riddick. Offensive line from Notre Dame getting some push. Remember, game's over if Sierra Wood holds onto the football in a previous overtime. The offensive line's getting a lot of push right now, and this is where you start talking 2, 3, 4 overtimes. The defenses are so fatigued at this point of the game.
Ball at the 11 on 2nd and 7. And Riddick gets a few more. That'll bring up 3rd down.
Boy, he absorbed a big hit in the hole and still was able to push forward.
Notre Dame trying to win its 2nd overtime game of this season to stay unbeaten.
If you get a win, this is where to me, when you have a team of destiny, and I'm not suggesting that's what it is yet, but these are the kind of games you have to win when you get outplayed by an underdog, but still find a way to win the game.
Ball's at the 7. They need 3 for a first down.
Quarterback run.
Gholston running all the way up the middle, looking for the goal line. It's going to be a first down. He came very close to putting it away, but Notre Dame on the doorstep of going 9-0.
Really good blocking on the right side. Golick, Lombard. The center, Braxton Cave, almost held, but did a good job not holding on to that jersey.
First and goal. Touchdown wins it. Gholston trying to get across. Yes! Touchdown, Notre Dame! And they stay perfect at 9-0. And the Irish move to 9-0 as we go down to Alex with Coach Kelly.
Well, Coach Kelly, you were given a bit of a gift when they missed the field goal off of Sierra Wood's fumble there. What was going through your mind?
Well, we needed to pressure him, obviously, and you got to make kicks. It's not one play. I'm sure Coach will tell you the same thing. We played a very good team today. Pittsburgh played their butts off, and my hat's off to them. But I'm so proud of our kids. They kept fighting. We were down. Things didn't look great, and they persevered and found a way to win. And 3 overtimes. That's good stuff.
And while Pittsburgh played a great game of football today, you guys really shot yourself in the foot a lot of times.
We certainly did, and I think the kids know that. They know you can't fumble the ball in the end zone. You can't throw it a pick in the end zone, and we didn't play as well in the first half defensively. But having said all that, to win a game against a solid football team in Pitt, we're happy to be 9-0.
And Everett was a bit inconsistent tonight, but on that game-tying drive, how much did he use the wheels?
Well, he did. He utilized all the things that he has, and I'm proud of him because he was down. When we took him out and we put Tommy in, you could see he was down. I said, listen, you're going to have to come back in here and help us, and he did. He came back and played really good football.
9-0, almost. It was this close on the edge. How does it feel to have escaped that?
Yeah, there's no pictures when it comes to 9-0. It just says 9-0. We'll go back. We got a lot of work to do, and these guys know that they got to get better.
All right, Coach, thank you.
So Notre Dame escapes 3 overtime win over Pitt after trailing 20-6. Going into the 4th quarter, they come back and stay unbeaten at 9-0. We'll return to Notre Dame Stadium after these messages from your local station. Again, Notre Dame moves to 9-0 for the first time since 1993.